So this bracelet says everything is possible. Not anything. Everything is possible. So anytime you say something that is not in alignment with what's possible, or something that is out of alignment with who you want to become, you got to change your bracelet. So that's a quick little exercise too. Decide to make the change. You bring awareness. Yeah. So we have these natural thought patterns.
Welcome, Melanated Married Millionaires in the making and friends, to another impactful episode. We're about to go through and highlight a melanated married couple, or just go through some lessons that we got. Make sure y'all tap in with the conversation. Queen, where can they go to tap in?
TheeM4Show.com.
Yes, ma'am. And make sure y'all follow us on Instagram. Queen, where can they follow us on Instagram?
TheeM4Show.
Now, if y'all haven't liked and subscribed, it would make the Queen very, very happy. If you can go ahead. Very? What should they do?
You should go ahead and subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, wherever you're watching or listening. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button.
It's free, and your first step to becoming a millionaire. Go ahead and click that button. And let's get into the show.
Let's do it.
A little bit, not too crazy, but enough to where it's like I feel it. And we're up here in Northern California for my man Ryan's 30th birthday, right? So shout out to Vern, shout out to the King. We were listening to Rich Spirit, and he was just like, this song came at the perfect time of my life, right? And if y'all haven't heard Kendrick Lamar's Rich Spirit, definitely go listen to it. But it kind of talks about not just being wealthy physically, not just having a whole bunch of money, not just having the cars, not just taking the selfies, not just having the chains, but actually being rich in your spirit. And that's exactly what we're going to talk about today. We got some dope people from Collective Consciousness on the podcast, and we're going to dive into not just how you can build wealth, physical wealth within your world, but how can you really do that inner work and build up your spirit and master who you are.
It's important.
Very important.
Yep.
Queen, are you ready?
I'm ready.
You got your necklace on. I know you're ready.
Look.
Was that intentional?
It actually, like, I knew we were doing the podcast. So that's part of what I put it on. But before I even looked to see what the podcast was about, I already had it on. So it's appropriate.
I see you. All right. Beautiful people, without further ado, let's get into the episode. Over 50% of Black Americans are unmarried, and only 2% of Black families in America have a net worth over $1 million.
We are on our journey to not only join that 2%, but grow that 2%.
Facts. I'm Devon Truvel, creator of Black Wall Street, the board game, with my beautiful co-host.
I'm Sinclair, aka the Health Nerd. You can go to our website at TheeM4Show.com, our Instagram at TheeM4Show, and our YouTube channel at Melanated Married Millionaires in the making.
And welcome to the M4 Show. Hey, welcome on back. Against Devon Truvel, creator of Black Wall Street, the board game. And of course, I have my beautiful, amazing, galactic, spiritual queen herself. Please introduce yourself.
What's going on, everybody? My name is Sinclair, aka the Health Nerd.
Yes, ma'am. So today, again, we want to talk about spiritual wealth. We dive into real estate all the time. We talk about streams of income. We talk about taxes. But at the end of the day, if you're not loving yourself, if you're not good inside, then you're not going to be able to enjoy that outer wealth. It's not going to mean nothing, right? So we want to make sure that y'all aren't just rich, but you also have that rich spirit. So to help us, we got some people. We got some people that are about to come and rock your world. But before that, we got to get into the small business sponsor of the week, which is Love Pals and Love Trays. Queen, can you tell them a little bit about Love Pals and Love Trays?
Yes, Love Pal dolls of color, custom handmade crochet dolls of all sizes and colors. Come on to the custom dolls.
There it is. So if you're trying to get you, a loved one of your children, a custom doll of color, so they can grow up playing with beautiful dolls that look like them, they can grow up with that strong sense of self-esteem, beauty, and excellence, go to love-dolls.com. Is that the correct? love-pals.com and get yourself a custom-made crochet doll today. Use the code the M4 show, and they'll give you a little extra something off right there. Little extra sauce, All right. But I want to get into the episode, right? So today we have Rae and Sahat from Collective Consciousness, who are going to give us a deep dive into spiritual wealth and self-mastery. Let's welcome Rae and Sahat to the podcast. There they go. How y'all living?
We are magnificent. How is everyone?
Bless. You said flowing or glowing?
Flowing,
yes. Mm-hmm. Flowing with the rhythm of the cosmos.
Ooh. So we diving right into it. We is going right into it. So talk to us about how you found the rhythm of the cosmos.
Well, first of all, we just want to introduce ourselves real quick to your audience. I'm Rae.
And I'm Sahat.
And we're your favorite spiritual couple.
Yes.
Come on.
And so you want to talk about finding the rhythm of the cosmos?
Yes. So we all have heard the song "Row, Row, Row Your Boat." Now think about that song from an esoteric standpoint, from a spiritual standpoint. Row, row, row your boat gently down the stream. Now you're not fighting against the current, you are flowing with the rhythm of the current. Merrily, 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 life is but a dream. What is the dream? You are in a flow state. You are happy. You are expressing gratitude. When you express gratitude, you are a super magnet. We are all magnets. So depending on what it is that you are putting out in the universe, even with your thoughts, you are attracting that very thing.
Absolutely. Everything is energy. Everything is energy. Anything that was ever created was first created as a thought. I want y'all to let that sit for a second. Everything that was ever created, right? We are all gods around here. If we weren't, we'd be sitting in this simulation with nothing around us. Every single item that ever existed was first thought about. You know what I'm saying?
The glass, the M4 show, the StreamYard platform, the computer, the internet. Everything down to everything that we wear, it was all constructed in the mental plane.
Here first.
Yeah. So what does that mean? Like when someone hears that and they're listening to this podcast and everything is mental, everything starts at a thought. What does that mean on how you should operate or advice on navigating this mental plane?
That's a beautiful question.
Love that question.
So I like to call it the triad. So let's pretend this is a triangle right here, right? At the top of the triangle is your focus, right? This corner of the triangle is your language. And then the other part of the triangle is your state, or also known as your physiology. Those three components is what creates the manifestation. So what you continuously focus on, right, determines the language that you use, which also determines your state. So let me break each one of those down. Focus. A lot of us sit here and tend to, and I wanted to talk about this a little bit later, incantations. So I'll go deeper a little later, but just to give you a little taste right now.
Okay.
It's something that you continuously repeat with emotion in your mind, right? Or even out loud. And your subconscious mind absorbs all the information that goes on that leaves your mouth, right? Or the thoughts that you were continuously having. Your subconscious mind keeps record of all of that. So what you continuously focus on begins to thus manifest because your subconscious mind is doing the work to bring that energy into your reality. So what you focus on is hugely important, and what you're focusing on determines the language that you use. If you're focusing on lack, right? If you're focusing on scarcity, if you're focusing on fear, your language determines that. Well, I don't want to do that because I don't know, or maybe I'm not good enough, or maybe it's not going to work out. That's not for me, right? All of that is your language. And like I said, your unconscious and your subconscious mind are taking notes. And every time you say something like, oh, Master said this, you're the captain of the ship. And so the crew is taking notes like, okay, well, the captain said, we got to do this. We got to do this. So your language is very important. You want to be able to speak life, not speak lack.
So mind if I step in here real quick?
Yeah, I do have one more point.
Okay,
Go ahead. Go ahead. So the last part is physiology. So what is your body doing, right? If you notice when your head's slumped, your head's down, your shoulders are slumped, and you kind of stick your gut out a little bit, you shuffle around, you feel sluggish.
Yeah.
You feel low, you feel depressed, right? But all you got to do, throw them shoulders back, put that chin up, and it immediately changes your state. It immediately changes how you feel. You feel more confident, you feel more powerful. You know what I'm saying? So those three things is what creates the manifestation: your focus, your physiology, and your language. Okay, go ahead.
Yes, thank you. That was so elegant. So just to add on to the language, you look at the collective. There's a survival that is programmed. Oh, we gotta work 9 to 5s, Monday through Friday. And you work in these weekdays and you feel weak in this day. And by the weekend, you are weakened. And they only give you two plasmas, 2 days to get off. And then one of those days is a worship day. So you really only get 1 day off to really recalibrate your energy for the next week so that you can continue being the good robot for the system. But when you take a step out, like, hold on, what am I doing? Like, you look at how a few hundred years ago, good majority, 80% of people had businesses. Look at where people get their last names from, these smiths. You had blacksmiths, goldsmiths. You had all these different people that had different businesses. You had the bakers.
Johnson.
Right. You had all these different people. They had businesses, but we've been slowly programmed to not focus on what our dreams and aspirations are, but what are the dreams and aspirations of others who want to use you to control so that they can use your energy to capitalize off of it.
Absolutely.
So breaking free of that language, breaking free of that mindset that you have to go out and do something. You didn't come into this world to go be a slave to somebody else's dreams. You came to grow and evolve as a being. You are everyone. Doesn't matter what your creed or race, or whatever it is. Everybody is created perfect because you are a spirit. That spirit is a reflection of the source, of God, of the creator. The human experience that we're having is where we create in our minds this imbalance, this imperfection. It wasn't always like this. We actually used to flow with nature. We used to flow with the rhythm. And we talked about that flow state. And what does that look like? Well, you're not wanting, but you can manifest everything because, for one, you stay in a flow. You stay in a state of gratitude, first and foremost.
Stay in the present moment. A lot of depression, a lot of these emotions that we experience, like depression comes from you focusing on your past. Anxiety comes from you focusing too much on your future. But when you focus in the now and you express gratitude, you can't feel depressed. You can't feel fear. You can't feel ashamed. You can't feel guilt. You can't feel any of these lower vibrational emotions because you're in the now. You're grateful for what you have now. And in this moment, you have everything you need.
So, I want to ask a question about that because I hear that and I feel that. How do you balance being present in the now, enjoying today, but still making those plans and preparing for the future? Because I definitely, I think I'm blessed to where I don't deal with the depression side of it, but I am very future focused. So anxiety is something, or my heart rate, feeling stressed out is something that I do deal with because I'm trying to be focused on the future. So how do you kind of do, in your opinion, both things? Be grounded, be present, but still be able to look towards that future.
That's a magnificent question.
Yes. So part of that is routine. What is your plasmatic, your daily routine? Are you expressing gratitude? Are you writing down your goals? Are you saying them with conviction? Not just saying it words like, I'm healthy and wealthy. No, you have to say it. I am healthy and full of wealth. I am spiritually abundant in all aspects. You have to say it. You have to feel it. You have to say it with every cell of your being, because you are programming your body to accept that programming. Everything that we experience in this physical plane is programming. All our focus is breaking out of that old programming that was not serving us, that was put on us for control, so that we can program ourselves in a way that amplifies us on a spiritual, mental, emotional, physical level. So when you're talking about tapping into that future, what it is are the potentialities. So time, as we experience it, is not linear. It's very cyclical. It's spiral. There's a flow to it, and that's that spiral. So, and that's part of being spiritual, is that spiral. Everything is moving, everything is flowing with the rhythm. There's a energetic flow to everything that you do. There's no stagnation whatsoever. So when you tap into these potentialities, you are tapping into these sparks in the quantum field, in the energetic field, where based on the trajectory of where you're at, this could happen or this could happen. But what do you want to happen? What's the most desirable path? If it's this one, then that's the one that you want to grab and pull into the now. And just stay into the now. You've already manifested.
That's beautiful.
And put it, and the rest of it is putting into action.
That is beautiful. I love that. And you know, just to kind of piggyback on that, as we were saying, everything is energy. Everything is energy. So when you know where you want to go, are you guys familiar with the 80-20 rule? Like you put 20% of momentum and 20% of energy, and then the universe basically grants you the other 80%. Like you begin to.
I've never heard of that aspect.
Yeah, I have not heard the 80-20 rule broken down that way. I've heard it to where it's like 20% of your energy gives you 80% of your results.
Yeah, well, that's why, because when you put it's momentum, right? We can break it down into physics, but it's momentum. So my coach, and honestly, if you are a coach, you should have a coach. If your coach don't have a coach, then they're not a good coach. You know what I'm saying? So my coach breaks down the rapid planning method, RPM, right? The R stands for the result. What result do you want, right? What is the outcome? What is the end goal, right? And then once you know what you want, then you need to know the reason, right? The purpose, the P, why, your why. Everybody, you know, if you're an entrepreneur, you know, they always talking about, oh, you got to know your why. But why is that important? Because your why is what drives you. Your why is what gives you that momentum, right? Nothing's going to catch it. You know, you guys are business owners. So building a business takes a lot of energy on the front end. But once you get that momentum,
understatement of the year.
Right.
But once you get momentum, it gets a little easier. You begin to start delegating. You know what I'm saying? It gets a little easier. Once you know a little bit, you know, you're not stopping and starting and falling and getting up.
Right.
You build momentum, right? Think about riding a bike. So your why is going to be what pushes you along. And the last part is the M, the massive action plan. What is your action plan? What steps do you need to take that's going to get you closer to that outcome? And what's amazing about this system, this is the way that I set goals every single day, right? I write out my RPM every day. If I don't, my coach is mad at me. So, but when you write it out, you know, think in ink, because what you write, you invite, right? So when you write it out, and then you begin to take action towards it, you are starting to build that momentum. And you are telling the universe, this is my purchase order. This is what I want from my life. And what happens is doors open up for you. The avenue opens up for you. The roadblocks are removed out of your path. I literally see this in traffic. The GPS will be like, oh, there's traffic coming up. I'm like, no, it's not. By the time I get there, it's been cleared up. You know, I don't get stuck in traffic. That's not.
Listen, you need to send those vibes over here.
Look.
Right. Those Well, I kind of have that because I do teach in LA. We'll drive out from the IE, and at first it'll say like, "Oh, ETA is 10:30," which was definitely be late. Somehow, every time I get there at 10 a.m. I don't know how it works, because I don't know. You see the text messages. I'll text the mentor like, "Oh, I'm gonna be there like 10:30. If y'all can get class started for me, that'd be great." And then somehow I always end up winning and getting it before them. And when we first met this queen right here, ultimate manifesting skills right here, I was like, you know what, you're gonna be my girlfriend.
He did.
And at the time, there were barriers in the way.
I'm laughing.
Is it true?
Yes, I'm laughing at the way you explain it. There
Why?
were barriers.
Go give them context. Why are you laughing?
The barriers was the boyfriend I had at the time.
Listen, and I just manifested it. That barrier was removed. Then I was able to go ahead and make you my queen. So I love how y'all like are making some of the things that we practice, we believe on some level, but you're making it more real for us and connecting it to physics. And we're nerds. So anything, when you start talking momentum talk, we got you. But I see a few comments in here. So we're gonna see, and the queen has better eyes than me. If there's a comment that should be on the screen and maybe we can address. If anyone's watching, you have questions for Rae and Sahat, feel free to put those questions inside the live chat and we can have them answer it. Sinclair.
We got primetime visuals that said much grace and gratitude, sending good energy.
Love.
We got.
Look, we're gonna get right back into the amazing podcast. But if you didn't know, in 2017, we created Black Wall Street, the board game, because we thought more families needed to know about the history of Tulsa Black Wall Street. More families needed to know about the legacy of Black excellence left behind of Tulsa Black Wall Street, that we can own a Madam C.J. Walker Beauty Salon. We can have a Booker T. Washington High School. We can have an Uncle Steve's Barbecue. We can have a Renaissance man like Simon Berry, who had his own taxi service and bus service that got bought out by the city of Tulsa. We have brilliance in our DNA. We wanted to make sure that your family can play a game that teaches them about this brilliance. So we have Black Wall Street, the board game, right here. We had the first edition available in 2017. That got sold out. We're on the second edition right now, or you can get the beautiful masterpiece version of the game as well. It's up to you. Head to playblackwallstreet.com and get yourself Black Wall Street, the board game, to empower you, your family, and generations to come. Playblackwallstreet.com. Let's get back to the episode.
I really apologize. Torziata.
Her name's Godtess.
God test. Thank you. Who said truth? I'm not sure exactly what that was referring to. And then we got Mr. Wall Street, who said results, purpose, massive action, and he also was laughing at my laugh. That was the audacity laugh.
Love it. Good energy, folks that are watching live. We appreciate y'all engaging with it. But I do want to kind of backtrack a little bit, because I know we dived into it. And y'all are able to really, flex that muscle, flex that mind, and show people what you know. But how did you get on this path, right? You talked about you having a coach. Was there something in your life that happened? Was there a person in particular that just showed you this pathway? But how did y'all get here?
Ooh, child. So, all right. You ever been to hell before? Like, you feel like you've been through life, like life just puts you in hell. I feel like I've been to hell and back so many times that I just created a roadmap at this point. So, I had to grow up really, really early. I had to experience some very adult situations at a very young age, involving like domestic violence between my parents. And, that had me mature really fast. But at the same time, that little child in me was still seeking approval and acceptance. And that began to translate in relationships to the point where I didn't have self-worth. I didn't have self-love. I would just do anything for the approval of some man, and I know a lot of women out there can relate to that. They just stay in these abusive relationships or toxic relationships or emotionally destructive relationships just for the sake of connection, for the sake of feeling loved, right? But what that's doing is it's breaking your soul. It's breaking you on the inside. So you know, when they say you get sick and tired of being sick and tired.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
I just had to hit that rock bottom. And unfortunately, a lot of us have a pain threshold and we don't decide to change until we hit it. And so I had to hit that pain threshold. And once I hit that pain threshold, I said, this is not it. I have to do something different. I started listening to positive audio. Shout out to Cryon, which is a amazing channel, and Abraham Hicks. I would listen to those types of positive things in order to get my mind right, in order for me to decide to build that momentum in a different direction. And it took years. It took like 3 to 5 years, really like 5 years for me to come from a space of hot mess to alignment, you know. It was trial and error a lot of the way. And so that's why I show people now, is because it's not easy. It's not easy. I have a course called Let Go and Grow. It's an online course. It's 7 weeks. It helps you balance out your energies, balance out your chakras. And I just went through with the course. Y'all go ahead and shout out in the comments if you was part of that course. I've seen a couple people out there.
There you go.
Put it in a comment. Let them know how it was, you know, because I dealt with people who are addicted to different substances and behaviors, and I teach them how to break that pattern. So, yeah, I mean, basically, I've been to hell and back too many times that I got the roadmap now.
Nice. And I do want you, and I got you right after this, Sahat. But if you can give someone, and you know, think about this while Sahat gives his answer, how they can start breaking the habits that they're addicted to. Because I think that was a good piece, and I haven't thought about people being addicted not just to drugs, not just to substances, but to things that they're doing every single day. They just get addicted to that routine, and they probably need a little kickstart. All right, so I'll go to Sahat. I want to get back to you after that question.
Okay.
So this is a loaded question. So for me, it started off very early with the spiritual, like with everything, because I saw spirits at a very young age. I was hearing voices. I was experiencing things in the astral plane that as a child, I still remember, that stuck with me, like meeting different guides and angelic beings. And because I was experiencing all of this light because of the old energy that we were in prior to 2012. And that's what the Mayan calendar was really all about. We were experiencing a procession where we were moving into a higher vibrational space of energy. So prior to this, in this old energy, where the chaos was flourishing, you know, people's demons were just out, just causing all kind of stuff. And not to say that it's not happening now, but it really has subsided and dissolved and been transmuted. But as a child, because I was this beacon of light for these different beings, I attracted a lot of darkness. So we all choose who our parents are. We all choose the life that we want to experience before we come into the physical life. In the spirit realm, we're like, okay, so I'm gonna grow up in Gary. There's gonna be shootings all the time. Your dad's gonna shoot your mom. He gonna end up in jail. You're gonna end up getting molested. You're gonna experience a lot of craziness, but it's going to transform you. And I didn't see that at the time, but even with the negative spirits that I saw growing up, there was shadow people that I would see, and whenever I would see them, they would, like, there was this fear that was inside me. Like I would feel this, like my whole cells just freeze up. But then something in my spirit would just tell me to move towards it. And whenever first of all, it mimicked every one of my motions, except for whenever I ran after it. Whenever I ran towards it, it ran away and disappeared into the shadows.
And it wasn't only him who saw it. There were other people who saw these shadow people too.
There were other people that experienced this. And there was an experience where the shadow person appeared and sent somebody to the other side that was experiencing cancer. That was a close friend of my mom's family. And I know this because of how the messages just move through me. They just come through me clearly. There's like a clear voice, or it's like gnosis, knowing. And so I really started to, at a very early age, like 8, 9 years old. Well, 5 years old, I was reading comic books. So for the next couple of years, reading these comic books, as I was going to the bookstores, picking up more comic books, they had moved the New Age section across from the comic book section. And so I'm reading these X-Men comics. I'm reading Spider-Man. I'm like, wait a minute, super strength, telepathy, moving stuff with your mind. This sounds real.
Yep.
I'm reading these stories and ancient mythologies, and something in my spirit was like, this happened. Like they can say that these were just tales, but I know that this happened because I'm seeing this. I'm experiencing it in the dream state. I'm seeing previous lifetimes that I've had. And it's no wonder why everybody is walking around with so much trauma. You want to talk about slavery? Slavery was just the icing on the cake. That there was so much trauma that goes back on this planet and it is written all through these different scriptures. I mean, like hieroglyphic stuff that has not been shifted, not been changed, transformed. It is still written in solid stone. So all this to say that I came into this life with knowledge that was from previous lifetimes. And I'm grateful for being this weird person that can share this energy and expand the awareness, so that people can see just how magnificent and infinite they really are. Like, oh man, like I really am like cosmic. I really am like infinite. Like, yes, you are. So manifest is our birthright. Everybody's doing it. It just depends on what it is you're manifesting.
Is it conscious?
So I started to put pure intention into what it is I wanted to manifest. I looked at and analyzed what it was that I was attracting in my life that was holding me back from where I wanted to be, from the people that I wanted to connect with. If I had not worked on myself, I would not be here with you beings. I wouldn't be with this divine goddess right here. I wouldn't be walking in purpose and sharing that light with others, because everybody who is sharing a message is a lighthouse to others who are in that dark, looking for that information, that wisdom, something that's going to transform their life. Just that spark. Like they just need to perceive things a little bit differently. Just need to expand that awareness. And that's all it takes.
Yeah. And I think it's also about hearing that message at the right time and place, right? I think sometimes we hear messages and it's not like this message on this particular day was any different than a message you may have heard other times, but you weren't in the right time, the right space, the right mindset, the right vibrations to really receive that message. Right. So speaking to all the people out there who maybe you're hesitant to share your gift with the world, maybe you're hesitant to bring that business idea out, to start that podcast, to do whatever, but again, you can be that beacon of light for someone else. You can be that person to give them the right message at the right time for them to really receive it and be able to take that and run with it. But I wanted to ask a question and really give the folks listening some tangible steps that they can go and take to raise their vibrations, right? We've been talking about kind of being on that right vibrational plane and kind of, we don't want to all be experiencing all of the time, at least those low vibrational, the depressions, the anxieties. So what are some tangible like habits? What are some things, maybe 3 things that our audience can walk away with as habits they can start to adopt to start to raise those vibrations?
That's a great question. And I honestly think, I think that kind of correlates with the previous question as well. Mm-hmm. First of all, to change your habits, you have to bring awareness to them. Mm-hmm. Most people who are stuck in their ways, they have cognitive dissonance. They don't, for example, the health, what's your name? The health
nerd.
The health nerd, right? You can tell everybody about what you eat and how it affects your body. But how many people be like, I don't want to know what's in a hot dog. Yeah. I don't want to know what's in it. What do you mean you don't want to know? Your cells literally absorb what you put in your body and it becomes you. And like, if you don't bring awareness to what you're putting in, if you don't watch the documentaries, if you don't scare yourself straight, you know what I mean?
Right.
That's what I had to do. You know, we're both vegan. And when I say vegan, like, I don't really like that term because people, listen, we prefer plant-based or alkaline, right?
Okay.
And it's a journey, you know, it's not something that happens overnight. It's definitely a journey. But that's been one of my goals for 2023. You can be vegan, but still be unhealthy.
Mhm.
You can eat them sweet, spicy chili Doritos and drink Coke all day long.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? But
Yep.
once you bring awareness to the habit, and it's like, that's not good for me, that is the first step. So one of the best ways that I bring awareness is through journaling or through writing. You know, write down what your goals are, write down where you want to be in life, and then brainstorm, like, what's stopping me from getting there, right? One thing that I've done, okay, so we've been to like a few Tony Robbins, we call them concerts. They're not
Mhm.
concerts. But if you've ever been to a Tony Robbins event, you know why we would call them a concert. But we've been to Tony Robbins events, and he had us actually like write down all of the things that we do in a day, every single thing that you do in a day, and ask yourself on every single bullet point, does this serve my outcome? Does this serve my outcome? Does this serve my outcome? And then recently, I believe it was either David Shands or Neo, said, go through your call log. How many people did you talk to today or yesterday? Did those people add or subtract from you, from your goal, from your outcome, right? You have to assess. What you don't measure does not get managed.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So you have to measure often. Am I on track? You know, and you can often tell by your emotions. If you're feeling less than blissful, then you know you're not on track. So then you have to make a choice. So that would be the second thing. Once you realize, okay, well, where am I messing up at? Where am I losing time here? Where am I not in alignment with my outcome? Then you must decide to change. You have to make a choice. And, you know, people who have taken my course, a lot of them needed to take it a lot earlier and a lot sooner than they did. And some of them were personal friends of mine, and it killed me to watch them struggle and suffer. But you heard my story earlier. I had to hit rock bottom.
Mhm.
I had to hit my pain threshold. And unfortunately, that's sometimes what people have to do before they're ready to change. But once you decide, you make a change, and then
Change your bracelet
why?
because you said it was killing you.
Oh,
There we go.
so we have a thing.
And that's bringing awareness to it.
Bringing awareness. So, right, your language. We talked about language earlier. So anytime, so this bracelet says everything is possible. Not anything. Everything is possible. So anytime you say something that is not in alignment with what's possible, or something that is out of alignment with who you want to become, you got to change your bracelet. So that's a quick little exercise too. Decide to make the change. You bring awareness.
Keep you mindful.
Yeah. So we have these natural thought patterns. It is our job to recognize when we're having a disempowering thought pattern and to interrupt it. Just how he was like, change your bracelet. Right? He interrupted that thought pattern. It wasn't killing you. You know, but that was just like an emotional way for me to share how I was feeling in that moment. You know, these people who were close to me, and it hurt to watch people you love continuously do things that tore them down, you know, but if they're not ready to change, if you're not ready to change, you won't.
Yeah.
So that's my 2 cents on that.
So was that 3? We said writing them down and being mindful of what you're doing. And then number 2 was assessing the situation. Is it adding to you, or is it subtracting from you? Is it getting you to your outcomes or getting you farther from it? And then the 3rd, I believe, was making the choice to switch. Okay.
Mm-hmm. And you know, whatever that is, like, say for example, you smoke cigarettes. This is just random, right? You smoke cigarettes, or you drink alcohol, or whatever, right? And let's say you realize that it's not helping you become who you want to be. Okay. Now you have to decide. First, you brought awareness to what you're doing. Then you realize, okay, this is not helping me become who I want to be. Then you have to decide, okay, I need to do something about this. And then RPM, make that massive action plan, right? Why is it important to you? What is the outcome? Why is it important to you? Now, what's the game plan? What are the steps that you have to take in order to achieve that outcome? Honestly, when it all boils down to it, RPM is the way.
There it is. All right. So, anything you want to add to that brilliance?
Just to really expand on it, first of all, having a rising routine. As soon as you get up, before you land, before you put your feet on the ground, express gratitude. Give thanks. Give thanks for another plasma, another day, for health, thank the universe for everything that you want to attract in your life. I am so grateful for all the abundance that's overflowing in my pockets, in my bank, in my personal life, in my business life. I'm so grateful for these amazing connections that I have with all these beautiful spirits. I appreciate and I'm so grateful for the connection that I have with spirit, with God, with the creator. Express everything. Like there's no, you can't overdo it when you express gratitude. Because when you are operating from that space of gratitude, first, you just created your intention for that day. Your intention is to abundance, beautiful, loving connections, all that, attract all that into your life. And then when you are about to take your first steps, create a circle 7 times clockwise on the floor, large enough for you to step into. You can do it physically with your finger. You can do it air motion with your hands, 7 times clockwise. Stand in this circle and just raise your hands all the way up to the sky, and whatever it is that you want to manifest, pull that into the now. Thank you, universe. Oh, I'm so healthy. I'm so wealthy. I have so many beautiful connections with others. I am fully tapped in. I am a unified being on every aspect of my existence. Pull all that into it and have a similar night routine. So writing down a goal that you want to pull into the dream state. Now, real quick, the dream state is where a lot of the unconscious energy that we manifest into our waking state, into our physical lives comes from. So when you don't remember your dreams, you're going to pull unconscious energy and stuff that happened in the dream state that you may not have remembered. So look at nightmares, for example. Nightmares are chaotic aspects, lower vibrational energies that are hiding, causing chaos in the dream state. So let's say that in the dream state, somebody gets into a car crash. There could be a negative spirit that's hiding in the glove compartment of that car. This is how tricky these entities are in the astral plane, because guess what? They are aspects of us. All those ill thoughts, all that chaos that was within us, that we've thought, that we've projected out there into the ethers, and it exists everywhere. And it can affect your life, or it can go into somebody else's life. So the more that we purify that energy, the more and the more that we remember what we want to manifest into the dream state, into our physical life, and we remember what happens in the dream state, we can pull that into our physical life. So write down a goal. I am fully healed. I allow abundance to overflow. Write down something that you want to manifest in the dream state, and then say that over and over and over until you fall into the dream state. And doing this will reprogram your mind so that when you do experience something in a dream state, you can be like, oh, wow, okay, this is what I want to manifest. Cool, I remember this. Now, when you get up in the rising, write it down. Because like she said, think with ink. You want to solidify that. Soon as you get up, express that gratitude, what was it that I dreamed of last night? Keep your eyes closed. What transpired in the dream state? Okay, now let me write this down. I'm going to remember this, because now you're starting to cognize and you're starting to bring awareness to the things that are happening in the unconscious realm, and you're bringing conscious energy to that.
I love that. And just to kind of add to that a little bit, when it comes to manifesting things in the dream state, you become getting a little lucid with it. And then you get instructions. So like, I know this is the M4 show. We talking about, you know, melanated millionaires, you know what I mean? Making, you know? So I think the $1 million question is like, how can you use this to get money, to make sure you are attracting money into your life? So I get instructions. When you get up, do this, do this, do this. Like yesterday, I slept in yesterday and I woke up like, I got to do this to the funnel. Like, like divine rising, like, you know, just like on the computer. And it came out bomb because I saw it in the dream state, you know? So I'm building momentum. We're talking about momentum again, right? Building momentum towards that outcome. And your unconscious mind is working for you to bring what you say, you're the captain, right? What you say into your reality. So you have to make sure, this is why spirituality is so important. You have to make sure that your energies are aligned in order for this to happen. I think of it like this. Are you guys familiar with your chakras?
She's more familiar than I am based on that yoga class you took.
Oh, very briefly, high level familiar.
Okay, so there are 7 energy points within you, right? And each of these energy points represent something different. And when one of these areas are blocked, I like to use this example. You guys are familiar, like watering the flowers, right? With the water hose, like outside. When water flows through that hose and there's no obstructions, it flows freely. But the second you take that hose and you fold it in half and you like clamp down on it, what happens to the water flow?
It either stops or is uncontrolled and it goes everywhere.
Right. You get a trickle or it goes everywhere or it just stops altogether. The same thing happens within your energy field. Your energy is meant to flow through you, right? And when it does, you create this toroidal field in your aura, right? And the energy, it flows this way and it also flows this way. And what happens is that is how you manifest and manipulate energy, bringing things into the physical from the thought, right? But when it gets kinked up or when there's an obstruction in one of those chakra points, you're not able to manifest freely. Right. So what happens is your energy gets blocked. And so it's trying to flow and you might get a little trickles here and there, but it's blocked. So once you learn, and that's what my course teaches you how to do, it clears out the energies within you and it allows you to manifest freely. So things flow in and out as they need to. So when it comes to manifesting abundance, it's the same thing. Your solar plexus, which is like right around your navel area, that is your willpower, action, and manifestation. That is the chakra for willpower, action, and manifestation. Imagine if your solar plexus is blocked. What you manifesting? Chaos. That's what. You know, so it's important to clear and to know and bring awareness and be conscious. That's why practices like yoga and meditation, those are very important because it helps calm down your energetic field in order to allow the healing, the balance, and so forth.
Nice. So, you know, you've been teasing folks about this course since we started this podcast. Let's talk about the course now. All right. So I know there's many different offerings that y'all have, but in talking about, I think, clearing out the chakras and helping people manifest, what is the course that you're referring to? If you can give folks the name of it, where they can find it, and then some of those tangibles or learning outcomes that you hope people get out of the course.
Absolutely. So it's called Let Go and Grow. It is a 7-week chakra balancing journey. Each week we focus on a different chakra. And the whole purpose is, like I said, to clear out that energy pathway in order for you to heal from past traumas, for you to remove blockages, and for you to really step into your power of manifestation. You can find it on my website on www.collectiveco.info. It's all there. Just click the link. There's even a little tab for it at the top. You go up to the courses and I'll tell you all about it. But basically it creates transformation. And I've had different people from different walks of life take this course, from addicts to people who are actually like successful in their business, to people who are just looking to balance and bring more peace. And I don't like saying peace. I like saying wholeness. So we're going to take that back. Cancel. We're going to say what? You know what I'm saying? Peace of what? We want wholeness.
And that's a gem right there. If you do catch yourself with that limiting thought of, oh, I can't do that, or this won't work. Hold on. Erase.
Or cancel.
Yeah. Cancel, erase. Control, alt, delete that. Like, because we're getting rid of that old programming. We putting that stuff in the recycling bin and hitting erase because it does not serve us anymore.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah, we teach people how to take your power back. That's the course, but we have something way more dynamic than that.
Oh yeah, we gonna get to that. That's the cherry on top that we're gonna talk about at the very end. Oh yeah, I'm excited to talk about that. But at the beginning, we kind of we're talking how random I can be on the podcast.
A word.
Yeah, you remember that, Sinclair? I was like, we asked questions, and you were like, So if we can. One more time, Ray.
I say he calling you out.
a little bit. So if we can get into and this is just off the top of my head, right? I'm going off of the outline here, but y'all seem very open. Appreciate y'all sharing your journeys, your experiences with us, and hopefully other people that have gone through similar stories are able to hear this and really connect with it. But I wanted to ask just some really spiritual questions if we can get into it. I feel like we've talked to some spiritual people, but we've never been able to actually like sit down and just ask, for lack of better terms, like just dumb basic questions that are probably easy for you, but it's like, I always wondered this. So if you have questions, definitely feel free to jump
sprinkle
on
them in, but I know you've probably got a few in that.
Listen, because y'all been talking, and I've been trying not to ask along the way, but I had to say, Sahat, you said somewhere on the way that we choose our parents. And I can't, my brain cannot get off this podcast without learning more about how in the spiritual plane we're choosing our parents or our cities or our lifestyle. I see Ray's excited about it.
Oh yeah,
go ahead. That's
awesome
number one.
Awesome question. So we choose the life that we want because it will amplify us before we even come into the physical world, in the dream, in the spirit world, in that transition state where the previous lifetime that we had and the lifetime that we're about to go into. Imagine like, okay, hold on. Let me pick my avatar real quick. All right, I'm going to pick somebody that's born here. They're going to look like this. We're going to, let's see, I got to pick 5 things that are going to really fart me up in life. Okay, let me pick that, and that. All right, I'm good to go. And we know that we're going to forget who we are when we come here. And that's why it's like, oh man, I chose my family. You sure about that? Because I'm looking in a Akash, and I don't remember saying that.
We don't have to explain it.
And we'll talk about what the Akash is. So the Akash is the
wait. Before you talk about Akash, I want to talk about soul contracts.
Soul contracts.
Yeah. Wow. So we come into this space and we choose the people who are in our life. Whether it be friends, families, significant others, ex-lovers, all that. We choose that, and a lot of the time, like we'll take me, for example, my father. My father and I had a very taxing relationship while he was living. May he rest in heaven. We had a very taxing relationship. And I honestly believe that I came to this planet to help his spirit evolve. What do I mean by that? Well, when we come to Earth, we are it's a test of energy. We get tempted with lower vibrational frequencies, we have these lower vibrational habits, but we get tested with like temptation and things like that. And you have choice. Do you choose the higher vibrational route, or are you going to fight somebody? You know what I mean? Like, you have choice here. And so in every situation that we are presented, you have a choice. And so I have been here for many lifetimes. I've been on this planet for a long time. You know how people like, you an old soul. That's where that comes from. I'm an old soul. You know what I mean? I got soul of the ancestors. So and so I came here as an agreement to struggle for the sake of my father's evolvement. So next time he comes into his next life, that he will be a little bit more conscious. He will have a lot more lessons. And that leads into the Akash, because all of his past mistakes are stored in the Akash. So go ahead. What is the Akash?
So the Akash is the record of everything that has transpired, not only in this lifetime, but every lifetime that you've ever had.
Past, present, and future.
It contains it all as quantum, because what we perceive as the past and the future is happening at the same time in the now.
Right.
So when we tap into that Akash, and the Akash is so multidimensional, you are so multidimensional, we are so multidimensional that the Akash is in our blood.
It's in your DNA.
It's in the 8th layer of your DNA. Mm-hmm. So your 8th layer of your DNA contains every record that has of everything that you've ever done in every lifetime, every memory, every up, every down that you've had. And this information is in our blood. So when they talk about, if you've ever heard that term, you are your own ancestors, many of us are our own ancestors, because this is how the life cycle works. We're connected by blood. We're also connected by spirit. It's so multidimensional because there's not just one Akash. You have your biological Akash, but you also you have your planetary Akash. The planet has its own Akashic record, its own Akashic field. Mm-hmm. And I say Akashic record, it's not some library that you walk into. It can be if that's how your mind perceives it, but it's more than that. It's so multidimensional. It's more of a crystal, an etheric crystal that contains all the information of you.
So on the planetary Akash, it contains everything that's ever happened or will ever happen on this planet.
So let's bring some light to something real quick. We talk about ghosts, disembodied spirits. That is, it's not what people think. It's not a disembodied spirit that's stuck in the ethers and it can't move on. What it is the energy imprint that was left by that person. So when you think about somebody who was brutally murdered, somebody who had a violent death, that energy scar, like if you imagine that, like they're right before they transition to the other side, their spirit just screams, and that energy imprint is left in that field right there. So you look at the things that have happened where people talk about, the Gettysburg, where the Civil War happened, you can still see some of the spirits out there. That's the Akashic. That the people had so much anger, so much fear, so much hatred, so much negative emotion that they left that imprint. And it's like playing something in rewind. It's on a loop in the energetic field. So it's not some disembodied spirit, but it's like you're looking at a hologram rather than a spirit that is not in a physical body anymore. The spirit once the spirit leaves the body, it goes to the other side, and there are songs that are sung that all the spirits on the other side sing for you when you come home. And it's sung in your light language name, not the name that you had in this previous lifetime, but the soul name that you have, the name that your soul goes by.
And I want to add to that energetic imprint. Energy is neither created nor destroyed, only transformed, right?
Yep. Come on, physics.
Right. And honestly, I posted this the other day. Science, physics is only spirituality explained. That's all it is. It's spirituality explained. So energy is neither created nor destroyed, only transformed. So when these tortured souls ended up leaving their corporeal form, their body, the energy expression that they had on the planet might still linger. So like if you yell, those are somatic frequencies. Frequency, everything is energy, right? Frequencies that leave your throat through your mouth, the crystals that are your teeth, right? And it gets amplified into the ether. So that has to kind of like hang around somewhere, especially for energy that's been highly tortured or in a lot of pain, right? You go to some of these like Indian burial sites or to war grounds or stuff like that, and you can feel the death that was there.
You can feel that imprint in the land.
And that's because it's still there.
Yeah, that happened to me.
I was gonna say that's what you talk about in Ghana.
Right. So I just had the opportunity to visit Ghana. We went to one of the dungeons where some of our enslaved ancestors were held. And yeah, like you can literally feel that somber energy. One of my brothers said that he touched the wall and he can see someone else screaming after he touched the wall. So yeah, I've definitely felt that. And I wanted to ask kind of a small follow-up question. You said that the information is held in the blood, but I have a theory that information is held in melanin better than in just regular blood cells. So I don't know if y'all have any thoughts on melanin being the form that we're able to connect consciously to our past lives, to our past ancestors, as well as our future descendants in our future lives, like literally melanin and melanocytes having that power to connect information and consciousness. All right, we're gonna get back to the episode in a second, but breathe. If you've ever had a brilliant idea, I'm pretty sure everybody just took a breath right there, right? Because we all have amazing ideas, but I got a question for you. What's stopping you from taking that idea and actually making it into a business, actually executing on your brilliance? My name is Devon Truvel, and in 2018, I was able to create, market, and sell my own product while still working a 9 to 5. And through the years, I've taken the lessons we've learned, the expensive webinars that I've gone to, and the dozens of business books that I've read, and I've discovered 7 simple steps to launch your business. If you're ready to take your business idea to the next level and make it real and start making profit from your passion, head to www.launchitcommunity.com and grab yourself the book. We've been able to make it very simple, affordable, and easier than ever to start that business while still working your 9 to 5. And we take entrepreneurs every single Friday and we talk to them. We teach them about how to use social media. We teach them about how to set up their Instagram account, how to use Shopify, how to use Printful and other tools that can help you take your business to the next level, but not take tons of time away from your 9 to 5 and your busy life that you already have. So if you're ready to take that idea to the next level, make sure you head to www.launchitcommunity.com, get yourself a book, and join our free accountability calls. Now, let's get back to the episode.
Oh, absolutely.
It is that conductor for that energy to flow through you. So when you look at what melanin, the melanin that makes up the pigment of our skin, for example, what it does is it converts photonic light that is given from the sun. It converts plasmic energy into photonic light that feeds us on a conscious level. So when someone consumes something like meat, for example, this is no shots fired, this is pure facts. Because I've eaten meat, so I've experienced this. When you've eaten meat, like a cheeseburger on a hot summer day, you feel a little weird, like, oh man, I probably shouldn't be out here in the heat like that. That's because the fatty acid from the meat is attaching itself to your melanin, and your melanin is fighting to convert that energy, but there's a blockage there, and that's where you get that uncomfortable, like, oh, like I feel like I'm sick, like I need to do something.
Like you got that lump that's kind of like digesting at once.
Mm-hmm.
And they know this about sugar and crack. That these
cocaine.
Yeah, or sugar and cocaine. That these drugs, because they both have the same molecular structure, they actually bond to the melanin. And for women, it's extremely hard for someone who is an addict. I don't care if it's drugs or if it's food, because it's all the same. That's why it's governed by the Food and Drug Administration. For another show.
Come on now.
Don't get me started. Don't get me started on that.
Up that rabbit hole real quick. So when you bring awareness to these things and you learn that there's power within your blood, that there is so much that is in your DNA that you can tap into. You have your healing layer that's in your DNA. You can program your physiology to release the correct chemistry for you for whatever it is you want. Doesn't matter if it's longevity, if it's perfect health, if it's multidimensional movement, if it's ascension, whatever it is, you can program your cells, because guess what? This isn't the first planet we was on. This isn't the first planet that we ascended from. We've been here before. It's been proven that for the sun, for the current sun that we have, Solaris, the yellow sun that we have, that or what we perceive as yellow is really white, that sun could not produce melanated beings on this planet naturally, that we had to have had a different sun. And if you look through the records, before the Great Deluge, before the flood, before the last great flood, there was a different sun. There was an energetic shift where our sun got into a fight with a different sun. Now, if you look at our sun, we're actually in a binary system. We have a brown dwarf star that is not perceived because it's on the other side of our sun.
Or also known as like, y'all ever hear of like dark matter?
Yep.
Where it's like, oh, it's just out of our visual perception. It's not dark matter. It's just in a different color spectrum. And I don't know if y'all are familiar with Billy Carson, but if y'all not, shout out Forbidden Knowledge, number 4, Forbidden Knowledge. Billy Carson, he will tell you straight up, like, and I think him and 19 Keys did a podcast.
Dope podcast. It's like 2 hours long, 3 hours long.
Yes. He said these are spacesuits. And it's because of the melanin, because we're able to convert that photonic energy, basically radiation, right? We're able to convert that into energy. Someone without melanin in their skin, or with a low amount of melanin, those, other folks, they won't be able to survive in those type of environments because they don't have the spacesuit. They don't have the protection. That's what melanin is. That's why our skin is thicker. And if you talk about the medical industry, they'd be like, oh, well, there were like so many different experiments on Black people in the medical industry saying that we can take more pain. We don't feel as much pain. That's not true. But the reason they said that is because our skin is thicker because of the amount of melanin that we have. We still feel pain, but our skin is definitely thicker, and it allows us, it's multidimensional, as Sahat was saying, it allows us to tap into those other aspects of ourselves, such as our DNA, and tapping into the consciousness of you. You see, we are living through fractals. Like, we are a fractal of a giant picture. And are you guys familiar with the flower of life?
Somewhat.
So it's this sacred geometric symbol. For those of you watching, just Google flower of life. It's this picture, it'll come up. But it's basically, I think, like 8 different circles overlap. They're all the same size, but they're overlapping, and it creates this flower, right? And that is the imprint of God. And that imprint is literally in every single thing, whether it be a flower, whether it be a fruit, whether it be certain living beings in nature. Like, you will find the flower of life literally in everything. And we are experiencing a fractal of that. Your DNA is a fractal of that image. So that is the God particle within you, right? So when we're utilizing our consciousness to tap into our DNA, utilizing the melanin to help convert things into photonic light, then we're able to attract with ease and effortlessly.
Man, y'all are tapped in right now with Rae and Sahat. If you are watching, make sure you give a like and subscribe. Tap into their website, collectiveco.info. Thank you, team, for the collective consciousness on that. That was a good effort. I see y'all. Queen, I feel like you had a question for him. No, did I misread that?
You did.
My bad.
I'm like, bad. I can think of something.
Man. So this is really good, and I'm in the middle of writing a comic / graphic novel, and it's kind of talking. It's inspired by African philosophy and psychology, and within this story, there is a sun in this. It's also kind of Earth, kind of not Earth. So this is just giving me a lot of stuff to think about, and I'm trying to hold myself, Sinclair. I
There's
promise
been
you.
Several moments where I'm like, this is going in the book.
This is literally the book. I'm on chapter 9 of the book right now. But I wanted to give y'all a little bit of a break and go into our Ask Declare segment, right? So this is our opportunity to give y'all the opportunity to ask us any questions about health, wealth, our relationship journey, anything like that.
I love it. Go ahead.
Okay. She looked right at you like, hello, you got a question?
So to the both of you, what does balance look like for you?
It's a great question. I think that is really the journey of 2023, is us finding that balance. Because I would say, prior to probably 2020, 2021, we were very 9 to 5 kind of focused. And we got used to that rhythm. We found not necessarily purpose and joy in it, but we did find balance in the 9 to 5 rhythm and schedule of, okay, this time I'm going to work. I'm going to come home. We're going to relax. I'm going to be with my queen on the weekends. We're going to do this. And we got into the rhythm. But now that we did find our purpose, and our purpose is being able to educate folks more on how to become wealthy as Black folks in particular. For me, my focus is on giving students more access to Black studies, to learning about Black history themselves and their ancestors, and in turn inspiring them to be their true self and genius self. And I think since we've found that, we're in a transition to where, at least personally, I still have the 9 to 5, but also living in the purpose, but also trying to enjoy my queen, but also trying to elevate myself. So I think 2023 for me is discovering what is that new balance, and possibly letting some other things go so that I can be in full alignment by 2024. So sorry to like kind of sidestep that question, because balance is something that we are searching for, at least for me, searching for in 2023.
Yeah, that's a loaded question. And I think if the answer would probably be different depending on like what stage of our lives you asked. But to his point right now, I think we are trying to find the balance, but also realizing that, at least for me, realizing that balance isn't a daily goal, if that makes sense. It is a lifetime goal. And so for me, I think how I used to think of it is every day needs to be balanced, right? You need to have some time where you're grinding. You need to have some time where you're relaxing. You need to have some time, and like balance to me almost meant like equal, right? You have equal grind, equal balance, equal, like, yin and yang, like at every aspect. And I think what I've learned just in especially maybe in like the past 6 months to year is like, that's not how it is on a regular basis. You're going to have some days where most of the time you're in that grind mode, right? We've had some days where it's like, okay, right, we have this greater vision. And in order to meet that greater vision, today needs to be one of those grind days where we just get up and we get it done. Right. But that also means that next week on whatever day we don't have anything, like we're going to clear the calendar and we're going to relax. Rarely happens anymore. Yeah. And he doesn't. He's a lost cause. I'm just
switch your bracelet. Hold on. Switch your bracelet.
I'm just kidding.
I'm learning.
Right. He's not a lost cause, but I'm realizing that the balance for me is I think I'm just prioritizing more like I'm the person who needs to focus more on the balance, who needs more of the downtime than he does. He like gets energized from work. It's a really weird phenomenon.
I want to write right after this. I'm just trying to write.
I'm sure.
Oh.
Okay, here we go. But long story short, realizing that there's just ebbs and flows in life, and you have those times where it's going to be more of work, less of pleasure. And then you have the times like in March, right? We're planning a wonderful trip where it will be definitely more pleasure than work. Mm-hmm. And so that means leading up to that, we got to get it done. We got to make sure that we are doing what we need to so that we can enjoy that time period. So just realizing that it's not like every day, you're going to get a 50-50 split and it's always going to be equal. It ebbs and flows. And even with our relationship, like, and the amount of time we spend, lately, most of the time we've been spending has been on, it has been business related, right? A lot of our time has been business related, and that's okay. That's the season of life we're in. That's it. That's the time period we're in. And yeah, long story short, I don't know what balance exactly looks like right now. It's something we're trying to find, but I think it's something that changes throughout time, and we are learning to be fluid with what balance looks like. Mm-hmm. So for balance for us right now, looks like grinding until March so that we can, take most of March to really realign, to really reassess, to really I'm going to think of March as like a giant deep breath. Of just getting back to center. Mm-hmm. That's a really long way to answer your question.
Love that. Planting those seeds and taking that time to flow in that season. Mm-hmm. So you're putting all you're doing your planting now so that in March you have that crop that you can harvest.
Yes.
Yeah. That is balance.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Go with the flow, go with the seasons.
Yeah.
That's what we've been leaning into. But my question is regarding relationship and business. So I noticed that a lot of people be like, don't do that. Don't do that. But like, how do you manage that? Like, how do you manage like personal time versus business time?
Yes, great question. And I think we're gonna have slightly different answers. Because as she says, I love working, or I love the results of working. So like we'll be doing the podcast, or let's see, what else did we just do? Or we'll travel to North Carolina for like the Boys Conference, the All Black National Convention. And that kind of stuff is fun for me, right? We're traveling together. We're staying in the hotel together. We're tabling, selling the board games, talking about the podcast. We'll do the podcast on the weekends. And that whole experience will be slightly energizing and enjoyable for me. But not always the same for the queen, depending
completely draining. Completely draining. Doesn't mean not enjoyable, but
right.
He, at the end of that weekend, is like, oh my God, we have all these things. And I'm like, I need a day to like recharge.
Yeah. So what we used to do, and we need to get back to and make sure we keep this going in 2023, is we'll have like once a week date nights, right? Whether it's Friday, whether it's Saturday, but we'll either go out to a restaurant, we'll cook together, we'll go to the drive-in and just have that intentional time where it's like, all right, Devon, I'm not working, I'm not writing, we're not doing a podcast, we're not replying to Play Black Wall Street DMs. We are just we're here with the queen, enjoying whatever moment that is. And that's something that I try to do on a consistent basis. Like when I'm doing time with the queen, all right, it's queen time, put the phones down. When it's work time, it's work time. When it's queen time, it's queen time. You got something you want to sprinkle on that, my love?
Yeah. So
yeah.
I think, part of the challenge, I think, in how we've evolved in, being a couple, but also being in business together, is learning each other in a new way. Mm-hmm. So I think, being together, you learn a lot about each other already. Being married, we're learning a lot about each other already. But I think starting a business together, and even, we've had this business together for years, but I think really like the past year, we've really got to like work together. Mm-hmm. In terms of like me quitting my full-time job and like joining the Play Black Wall Street organization Like we're working together on a daily basis more than we ever have before. And so I think that has brought its own experiences, challenges, right? Things to work through, epiphanies, things to learn about each other in even how we operate in like professional setting. But I think that it is about, again, coming back to this word balance. And like at some point we tried to implement office hours or work hours. I don't remember what we called them, but it was like, okay, we are allowed to work, right? This was again a season where we had, I think, not as much quite going on, but you know, we gave ourselves 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. And so that was within, this is also when we had full-time jobs, both of us, within the full-time job. And when we come home and do everything else, you have until 8 p.m. to work. And then after that, it's like us time. That's not necessarily a reality for us anymore, but for that period of time, I think that did help us find some balance. But now I think it's about how do we take those experiences that we know we're already going to have and still make sure that, yes, we're getting the business done, but we'll also have time for us too. So like the trips to North Carolina, like we still have, like we're still foodies. So like we still always like to go find a Black owned business that we go and support. We sit and we have a nice meal together. You know, Jair's usually with us as well, but we still have those intentional times of like, let's sit and enjoy this new place we're getting to visit. At the end of the day, it is still traveling. So it's a constant journey, but I think learning each other and really like observing like, okay, this is a situation we in. How did he handle that situation? Okay, that's interesting. So when we're in a situation under pressure or when we're, you know, in a situation where we're working with a business partner, this is how he operates. Okay, how can I then support him in that process? Or, you know, how did my actions help or hinder that process and how it went? How am I adding more stress onto him? How can I help take stress away? It's just a constant, like, it's a constant journey. And I think there's not necessarily a destination where I think we're trying to get to of, you know, complete bliss of knowing exactly where we are as entrepreneurs. It's a constant journey of just continuing to learn each other individually, learn the other person and how they operate and how we can support the other person. And then eventually, you know, when we got little younglings running around us, when they can come and support the vision as well. But yeah, it's not easy. I don't like to paint an unrealistic picture that, you know, running a business with your spouse or with your partner is easy. But at the end of the day, I wouldn't do it with anybody else.
That part. And that's what I also want to harp on. Like, I think, and if you listen to the podcast, you know my stance. I think every Black family period should have a business together, whether it's a real estate business, whether it's a collective consciousness business, a health business, whatever it is. I think you should do something together to generate wealth and income and value for your family. But yeah, like I feel like I've done work with other people as far as with the business and in my 9-to-5 job, and I can say I have the most fun when it's the queen with me at the table, when it's the queen with me on the plane, even though she always takes the window seat. I have authentically the most fun with the queen. So appreciate you. Good stuff.
I love that. We forgot ours. You remember ours?
No.
Handshake. There we go.
We have
time for a new one.
We got games that we play like owls.
One more time.
We play owls.
So
I'm gonna tell you how
Ray doesn't want to hear this story.
Right.
But I'm about to share it. So she was doing an event. She was doing an online event that she had facilitated. She had organized with some other goddesses, and it was like 8-10 hours. And you know, I knew that when she got done, she had to use the bathroom. So when I was waiting in the other room.
Hold on. So it's the end of the event, and I'm excited. I close the computer, and I'm like, love, and I don't hear nothing. I'm like, I heard him walking around a few minutes ago. Like, okay. So I waited a few minutes. I got up to go to the bathroom. And then all of a sudden, I turn on the light, and here's his tall self just standing in the dark. And I'm like, I screamed. I probably cussed a little bit. I'm like, what? And he was like, oh, I thought you wanted to play owls.
you know what owls do? They be in the dark. Like,
yes,
see,
I'm about to do that to you.
That's fine. I feel like you would get more scared than I would.
I would, but I would be creepier than you would, but I would definitely get more scared.
Definitely would. Okay, go ahead.
So now randomly we just hide around the house.
Mm-hmm.
And when the other person's looking for, we just like stay quiet.
That sounds fun.
Hiding on seek has become owls for us.
Yeah.
Love it. Hey, I love the playful, youthful nature of it, right? Like y'all are never too old to play with your partner, to just play with each other. So keep that youthful spirit, y'all. Love it.
Let me share something real quick that I learned when I was going to school for game design. One of the things that they had, there was a TED Talk, and they were talking about life and how people on their deathbed, like 90% of the time, they regret not spending the money that they had and not spending more time with their loved ones and not enjoying life. And that really is what keeps you young, is that inner child and it is not just, running around being immature. It's just knowing how to express that inner child and not take life so serious.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, that's real. But I know there was something fun, something exciting, something where people maybe can tap into their inner child, or definitely their inner spirit, inner wealth. But there was a retreat that y'all talked about, and you talked about it. I don't know if it was on the Grow Your Business challenge that we were just both on, and you talked about a little bit, or something else. But you planted that seed. You manifested, how many people you wanted. You manifested the experience. Can you tell the folks that are listening today what is this glorious, amazing, powerful retreat that you all are masterminding?
Whew.
Yes.
So it's called the Light Masters Retreat.
Yes.
And it's for tapped in spiritual entrepreneurs who may be kind of balancing their emotions or struggling with limiting beliefs, but they are still tapped in. And basically what we've done is we took a 8 to 10 week like course program and coaching program and condensed it down to like 4 transformational days.
So we're going to be focused on these 4 days. We're going to be focused on mind, body, spirit, but most importantly, on the last day is integration, bringing it all together. Because you can eat good, but if you're not meditating, or if you're not living right, then there's going to be a lack. There's going to be something that you're not going to be in full alignment. Let's just say it like that. So it's not just focusing on the mind. It's not just meditating. It's not just eating right. It's not just living right. It's all of it. It's integrating everything, because the more that you compound, the more that you solidify in what you want to do, which is flowing in your purpose.
So what we're going to do is we are going to ingrain into your physiology, into your subconscious mind, $1 million routine. So that when you leave that joint, you go home and you wake up like, I got to do my routine. You know what I mean? Because what we're doing is we're going to be working with some really high vibrational energies and techniques in order to program. I'm a student of NLP, which is neuro-linguistic programming. So I should be getting my certification here real soon.
Hey, congrats.
Yes.
And so we're going to reprogram your mind in order to breed you for success. So like we said, these are spiritual entrepreneurs. That doesn't mean you have to be in a spiritual business, but you do need to be spiritually aligned for the event. So what we did was we created a free ebook for you guys. You can go to 7spiritualmistakes.com, and that's the number 7spiritualmistakes.com, because we created an ebook for people who make mistakes after their spiritual awakening or after their awakening process, and they're still making these 7 mistakes. We threw in a couple bonuses for y'all too. And then we give you hacks on how to overcome them. And then after you get the free ebook, we also will let you know a little bit about the spiritual retreat. You can fill out the application, because like I said, it is, you have to be in an energetic alignment for it, because it's not just to help you, but we also have an intention that let me back up a little bit. One person operating in pure love affects 750,000 people on the planet.
Wow.
One person. So what we're doing is we're bringing together 20 amazing individuals who are looking to overcome some things that are happening with them internally, looking to manifest that next level in business and in life. And with those 20 people, we'll be affecting 15 million people on the planet.
Wow.
So it's bigger than us. It's bigger than you. It's bigger than each individual person or even the collective group of the people who are coming. We're affecting 15 million people in doing this work. So it's very important and like life-changing for us because we get to facilitate that for you.
Yes.
Love it. And I know Jai is working on getting that website up, but can you say the website one more time for that ebook, please?
Yeah. So it's 7, the number 7, spiritualmistakes.com. There we go.
There it is.
Mistakes.com. So you'll get our free ebook. And then the next page, I'll ask you about interest of the spiritual retreat. We forgot to tell them the biggest part. We have a celebrity guest, y'all.
Yes.
Ooh. Go ahead. Spill the tea.
If anybody is familiar with Dr. Be Serious.
And that's not doctor, like with the R, it's doctor.
Doctor.
Yeah.
Yep.
So we have Dr. Be Serious. He just did an event with Billy Carson, the Blueprint to God Power. And very transformational. It was profound. It was extremely profound. And he went deep into how to reprogram your subconscious. So he's going to be providing these techniques on how to reprogram your mind so that you can create a long-lasting routine that is going to amplify you on your spiritual journey.
He calls it the foundation. He calls it a total subconscious reset. A total subconscious reset. And so, yeah, we just put it down below. Dr. Be Serious. Tap in, look into him. That man, he is a quantum, like he's a doctor of quantum physics.
Metaphysics. Doctor of metaphysics. He's an herbalist.
And he creates these amazing little tonics. He has monoatomic elements as well. Parasite. He has a whole parasite cleanse. Look into this man. He is dynamic.
He's been doing music for years, for like 20, 30 years.
Mm-hmm. So, a question for you. We didn't talk about the cost of it. You don't need to share the cost. People should go to the 7 Spiritual Mistakes, get the free ebook, and then go ahead and express interest. But, is there any way we can give an extra incentive for the M4 community? And, whatever code you want to bless the M4 folks with, I'm sure they would appreciate it. But is there any extra incentive that we can give on the website for them to put in the M4 show and then show a little extra love?
Absolutely. What we'll do is we will. We didn't talk about this before, but we can do it.
Beautiful.
Absolutely. What we'll do. So, like I said, there's an application. In your application, just put the M4 show. Any one of them questions, just add the M4 show at the end of one of those questions. And what we'll do is we'll take $2,000 off for you.
Come on, extra love. Make sure y'all tap in. Make sure you put the discount code, the M4 show, on any one of the questions. And yeah, just get aligned, y'all. 2023 is your year. All right, don't play with it. Yeah. We're gonna do a few updates, and then we want to end with any words of wisdom that you all have for the show. Y'all have dropped amazing nuggets all throughout. Again, if you're watching, we got Rae and Sahat here from Collective Consciousness. You can tap in at collectivecode.info. It's all the beautiful energy and resources. We're going to do short updates and then give it to you for any last words of wisdom. Okay. Awesome. Queen, updates on your amazing, melanated, brilliant, head shaking self.
I don't have any updates for the folks this week.
Sounds good. So on my side, of course, y'all know Play Black Wall Street. Make sure y'all get Black Wall Street, the board game. We have a little bit less than 1,000 board games left in stock, and we have a few schools that have already reached out for bulk orders. And Black History Month is right around the corner. Every speaking engagement we do, we give out free games like it's candy because Oprah's cool. She did it. So we're going to do it too, right? So make sure if y'all want Black Wall Street, the board game, if you feel like a family member would really love to learn more about the history and legacy of Tulsa Black Wall Street, if you know a Black history nerd and you feel like this game needs to be on their bookshelf, go to playblackwallstreet.com. You can get yourself the second edition or the masterpiece edition today. That's playblackwallstreet.com. Go ahead and tap in. And if you have a scholar and you want them to learn more about Black history, this is going to be the last probably 2 weeks that Play Black Wall Street Academy is only $15 a month. The value is going up. So unfortunately, because of supply and demand, the cost also has to go up to accommodate that value. So right now it's $15 a month, and it will be going to $30 a month in February. So go to playblackwallstreet.com, get yourself a board game, or enroll in Play Black Wall Street Academy. Now, let's end with a nice, beautiful, and they've just been pouring. They've been pouring, y'all. They have been pouring into the cups. My mind is working. We have a whole situation downstairs. I'm just like, I just want to be up here writing for an hour. We'll see how long it takes me to get downstairs. But let's bring Rae and Sahat back in, and let's go ahead and end with some beautiful words of wisdom, advice for people out there who, maybe they've thought about tapping into the spirituality. They've talked about, or they thought about tapping into their highest level of self, but something just keeps stopping them, whether it's a habit, whether it's a person, whether it's perception from the outside world. What are some words of wisdom you would give to those people on the edge, on the cusp?
I've been waiting for this moment. Ooh. I just want to say.
Ooh.
We talked a little bit earlier about incantations.
Mm-hmm.
Most of y'all out there are doing incantations. Y'all talking about what y'all can't do, what y'all afraid to do, what other people are telling you. And that's a whole different story about taking advice from people who are not in the position that you want to be in. But that information gets embedded in your unconscious and your subconscious mind. That is what manifests your current reality. So let us shift perspective to incantations. Same spelling, different emphasis. Incantations utilize emotion, which is just energy in motion, right? And it helps you manifest what you want. So instead of saying, I can't do that, or I'm not smart enough, or who am I to be sharing this information with these people? Why would anybody buy from me? Let's change it. I am powerful. And you say it with emotion. Like, I am a millionaire, right? This is the M4 show. I am a millionaire. I am, speak in the am, in the present tense, right? Not I want. Want is coming from a space of lack, right? I am, speak in present tense and in first person. So if it's we, then we. If it's I, then I. And then you bring in whatever it is you want to manifest. Write 6 of these down, like literally write them down. Don't just say them out loud or whatever, because you are going to say them out loud, but write them down. Think in ink. What you write, you invite. Write down 6 affirmations. And every day for the first 9 days, say them 3 times a day. And then for the next 9 days, you say them 6 times a day. And then for the next 9 days, you say them 9 times a day. And if y'all don't know, Nikola Tesla told us a little bit about, if you know the powers of the 369, then you tap into the keys of the universe. So write down 6 affirmations. For the first 9 days, you say them 3 times a day. And put my fingers in the camera. For the next 9 days, you say them 6 times a day. And then for the last 9 days, you say them 9 times a day. And watch that thing work for you.
Boom.
Tangible.
Right.
Like
tangible, free.
Look.
It doesn't cost you nothing but time and effort, y'all. All right. Brother Sahat.
Yes. So, my highest intention is that everybody realizes and embraces the magnificence within each of you. So to tap into that, let's do the first layer of your DNA. And this is something that I encourage everyone to do every single plasma, at least once a plasma, once a day.
Plasma just means day.
Yeah. So we're replacing the words that are not serving us with more higher vibrational words. And we'll talk about what plasma means on another show. But for your DNA, because there's so much in your DNA, it's so magnificent, it's so multidimensional. Your first layer is your biological layer. So let's communicate with this first layer of our DNA. Dear layer 1.
Dear layer 1.
My biological layer.
My biological layer.
I am filled with vitality.
I am filled with vitality.
And I am youthing every plasma.
And I am youthing every plasma per day.
And just communicating to your cells is something simple that you can do. Something that you can do while you're driving to work, while you're in the shower. It doesn't matter what you're doing. Just talk to your cells because they will respond.
The shower is the best place because water holds information.
Water is liquid crystals. And your body is mostly water, which is liquid crystals, and that holds information.
Mm-hmm. So when you talk to your water, like your physical water that you drink, or if you talk to the water in the shower, once it hits your body, it affects the water within your body.
So the cells of your body hold the templates and the blueprints for perfect health. You are filled with vitality and you are youthing every plasma every day. We'll talk about black don't crack.
That's why.
To get back into that biblical age where we living for thousands of years.
Thousands.
978 and still going strong.
Look, you're still looking like this, man.
And I like that last note. Like, don't just talk to yourself, but talk to your cells.
Yes.
Right. So talk to every particle in your body. Rae, Sahat, we appreciate y'all for coming on, tapping in with us, and blessing us with this knowledge. Y'all definitely raised the vibrations here. Love to have y'all come back and do a deeper dive because we talk about a lot of different things here. So love to have y'all come back and just do a real, deep dive into one of those things. But
absolutely.
Again, we appreciate y'all time. Yeah, it's on the screen right there. If y'all want to tap back in with them, make sure y'all go to the 7spiritualmistakes.com. That's 7, the number, spiritualmistakes.com. And of course, their homepage, collectivecode.info. We appreciate it. Queen, you got anything left before we? No? Before we,
I was letting you finish the
well, because I don't exactly know what we're gonna do. I know I'm gonna write. I don't know what we're gonna do, but
this is a good episode. Definitely got to have y'all back to really dive deep into some of the topics we touched on high level. Right. So definitely excited for that. But no, it was a good episode.
Beautiful.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah,
of course. Well, thank y'all, listeners, watchers, for tapping into the M4 Soul Melanated Married Millionaires in the Making. I'm your host, Devon Truvel, creator of Black Wall Street, the board game.
And I'm Sinclair, aka the Health Nerd.
Make sure y'all secure the marriage. Make sure y'all secure the love. And of course, make sure y'all secure the bag. Thank you for supporting the M4 show and our mission to increase the wealth of Black families.
If you received any value from this episode, any value at all, any, do us a favor and give us a like and subscribe on YouTube and Apple, Spotify, anything, all of them. All of them. Wherever you're listening, go ahead and like and subscribe.
And after you like and subscribe, make sure you send this episode to at least one family that you really want to see win. We'll catch y'all next time. Peace.